And now, with the main news bulletin, this is Curtis Lumingu.
Good morning. This is 5FM Main News. The headlines. BREBNAR CHANGALA accuses police of being politically focused. Government urged to consider waiving off some taxes for purchasing a brand new vehicle. And deaths in Sierra Leone anti-government protests. And now for the news in detail. A civil rights activist, BREBNAR CHANGALA, has expressed discontent in the manner the Zambia Police Service is operating, charging that in its current state, it remains politically focused to an extent that it cannot protect the citizenry in line with its mandate of protecting life and property. Mr. CHANGALA is concerned that close to 5 months has passed without police making any tangible progress in finding the mobile money agent Pamela Chisumba, who was allegedly abducted in April this year along Cairo Road, Lusaka. Speaking to 5FM News, Mr. CHANGALA has further accused the police of concentrating where there is money and not where they can protect and maintain law and order. He says the police do not usually have interest to investigate a case if it is not politically inspired, but are there to serve political interests of the powerful and ruling class.
The police will not investigate a case if it's not politically inspired. I will ask a question to every citizen. When did the police go at a crime scene, seal it off, and apply fingerprints? Do the Zambia police have a lab for fingerprints other than for those people who want to apply for a firearm or to apply for a work permit or to go into the missions abroad? Do we have a database of criminals whose fingerprint is on record so that if you find a car has been broken into, Zambia police can never and will never in the current day solve or resolve a complicated matter?
But when contacted for a comment, police spokesperson Ray Hamonga insists that the issues pertaining to investigations of the alleged abduction of Pamela Chisumba have not gone to rest as the investigations are still ongoing.
As regards to the issues surrounding the investigations about the alleged abduction of Pamela Chisumba, as police, we have not taken anything to chance and we have not let that matter to go to rest. We are still investigating. However, we are not going to be issuing statements bordering on two principles that we have repeatedly said. One is that we're not going to issue a statement that border on endangering our life, and two, we're not going to issue a statement bordering on jeopardizing our investigations relating to that matter.
In another development, the Zambia Police Service says the increase in gender-based violence GBV cases should not be perceived as an indicator that the crime rate is on the upswing in the country, but as a sign that more cases are now being reported and taken to courts of law for prosecution. GBV statistics show that a total of 7,589 cases were reported countrywide in the second quarter of 2022 compared to 6,148 cases reported in the second quarter of 2021, indicating a 23.44% increase. Speaking to 5FM News in an interview, police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says this also shows that people are now breaking the silence and speaking out when abused, unlike in the past when some families could shield perpetrators, especially if they are breadwinners. Mr. Hamonga says with this transition and improvement in the number of GBV cases being reported to the relevant authorities, there is hope that the fight against the scourge will be won.
Now, when you look at the statistics this year, we have recorded a 23% increment as compared to last year's statistics, meaning we have 23% more of the abusers being taken to courts of law. Okay, so for us as police, we are excited about it because we have seen that people now are no longer sitting in their homes when they are abused. They are coming to the fore, meaning actually we are transitioning to a point where we are going to win this war because this is a crime which was not heard of. People are not reporting it when they are abused. You hear maybe a child has been abused by a father, they'll just sit in a home. No, this is a family issue. Let's not discuss it. We're going to be embarrassed.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says it has so far issued about 51,000 title deeds around Lusaka and Kitwe under the National Land Titling Program. Ministry National Land Titling Program Project Manager Emmanuel Tembo says the ministry has also issued offer letters for close to 130,000 properties on the Copperbelt Province and Lusaka in Chilanga, Kafue and Lusaka districts. Mr. Tembo has attributed the success to the use of electronic signatures to some of the titles, which he said has quickened the process. He says previously titles were being signed manually, something he said was time-consuming. He also revealed that they have also introduced a new integration between the Zambia National Commercial Bank ZANACO and the National Land Titling System, which is, I beg your pardon, I'll read that again. He also revealed that they have also introduced new integration between the Zambia National Commercial Bank, ZANACO, and the National Land Titling System, which is enabling people to make payment without necessarily going to the National Land Titling Center.
The level of payment, like I've said, we have issued 129,000 offer letters and we have 52,000 titles. So you see the difference. When we give an offer letter, the expectation is that now the people must do it, they must pay to be able to get a title. So the difference between 129, 150,000 and 52,000 means that all those people have not paid for the title because they feel maybe it's too expensive, or they are vulnerable, they are not able to afford.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tembo has also revealed that the ministry is currently issuing about 30,000 title deeds in Chilanga district. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development says it has recorded backlogs when paying contracts due to limited budgetary allocation to the sector, thereby creating a challenge to meet the obligations. Speaking during the Stakeholders Building and Construction Summit yesterday, Ministry Permanent Secretary in charge of administration, Mambo Hamaundu, says the government will therefore not sign any contracts if there is no anticipation of money from the treasurer. Mr. Amaundu has assured the ministry is committed to see to it that contractors are paid within the prescribed period of time, and this can only be done if there is realistic expectations of funds. He says the ministry has also been building capacity in local authorities as they endeavor to have quality projects. He says the ministry further remains committed to supporting the growth of the local construction sector.
As you are presenting your IPCs, they should be paid within the prescribed period of time. It should not be a ceremony where contractors are camping at a particular ministry to chase for payments. We are trying to move away from that. But of course, this is a difficult period that we are in. It's in a transition, but there are a number of things and activities that we are trying to do to try and normalize the situation in the manner of speaking. So management will become extremely paramount.
Now stay tuned for business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
In business news, Vehicle Center Zambia Chief Operations Officer Frederick Rooks has called on the government to consider waiving off some taxes for purchasing a brand new vehicle. Speaking to 5FM Business News, Mr. Rooks has expressed concern that Zambia has one of the highest tax systems for purchasing a brand new vehicle in Africa. He regrets that most Zambians cannot afford a brand new vehicle because of the high taxation, citing value-added tax, excise duty and import duty. Mr. Rooks says many Zambians have no choice but to buy second-hand vehicles from other countries.
Taxes in Zambia for brand new vehicles are very high. You have to pay 60 to 80% taxes, VAT, excise duty, import duties. So it's very high. It's probably one of the highest taxes system in Africa. So it's why many people have no other choice to buy used vehicle from Japan, from other right-hand drive countries. Because when you have 15,000 US dollar budget, today you cannot afford buying a brand new vehicle in the country.
In other news, the Zambia Police Service has clarified that contrary to insinuations being peddled that the former President Edgar Lungu was not given adequate security, he was actually accorded adequate security in accordance with the conditions of service befitting a former head of state. Stakeholders have questioned whether the former head of state was provided with adequate security following the theft that occurred at his residence on Tuesday this week. But Inspector General of Police Lemi Kajoba has explained in a statement issued to the media last night that Mr. Lungu was even availed an opportunity for him to choose the police officers that would constitute the security detail around him at the time he left office. Mr. Kajoba says claims that the former head of state was denied his security entitlement by government are false and misleading. And the police chief said police have already instituted forensic investigations into this matter to establish what actually transpired, and has since urged members of the public to desist from making unwarranted attacks and theories on individuals as well as institutions, but rather allow the officer to thoroughly investigate this matter. He has assured the nation that officers are working around the clock to establish the authors of this crime and bring them to book, adding that once the investigations are concluded, the nation will be updated accordingly.